One of the technologies that we're seeing used more and more today is using ink. Now, some people like to use a tablet input method on their computers, while some people use tablet PCs. Using an ink canvas allows you to interact with those kind of users, so let's take a look at how you can use those now. I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to call this Working with Ink. Now, before you can work with ink, you need a control that understands how to work with ink. The basic WPF control that works with ink is called an ink canvas. I'm going to select the ink canvas and drag one out onto my window. I'm going to set the property for my ink canvas so I can actually see where it is, and give it just a little bit of a tint. Now when I press F5, you can see that at the moment it doesn't do anything, but as soon as my mouse cursor moves over it, it changes to a small black dot. Now if I were working on a tablet PC, as soon as I moved my stylus over here, I would get the same behavior. Now, if the stylus touches the screen or I click my mouse button, I can click and drag on the ink canvas to get completely organic feeling strokes. I might try to sign my name or add some other symbols. Now with the ink canvas, there are a variety of different things that you can do. First off, by default, the ink canvas is always drawing in black. Let me add a couple buttons, and we'll use those to change the color that the ink canvas is going to be drawing in. We'll change this button to red, and this button to blue. Now to change the color that I'm going to be drawing in, I'm going to need to go into the code, and as we discussed before, if I'm going to modify the properties on my ink canvas in code, I need to make sure it has a name. So let me name my ink canvas My Ink. So now, let's select my red, switch over to the events page, and add a click handler. Now an ink canvas has got a property on it called the default drawing attributes. I can go to the default drawing attributes property and get any of the values, such as what is the current color, is it currently fitting the curves, and so on. I can also set any of those values the same way. So by doing this.myink.defaultDrawingAttributes.color, I can say equal and set it to any color I want. Now specifying colors inside the Windows Presentation Foundation requires me to create a color object, specify the red, the green, the blue, and all the other components. But an easy way to do it is just by typing colors, plural, dot, and I'm presented with a long list of different colors that the Windows Presentation Foundation already recognizes. So I can go ahead and choose any particular color from this list, but in this case, all I want is red, so I'm just going to type red. This just gives you a set of colors and an easy way to set to any particular value. Let me save this, switch back to Blend, select my blue button, and add an event handler for it. Go back to Blend, press F5, and now I start drawing in black since I haven't yet set the color. But let me click the button, and now you'll notice that my cursor is red, which may be a little difficult for you to see, but as soon as I start dragging, I am in fact drawing in red. I can click the other button as well, and go ahead and start in blue. Now the ink canvas has a stroke collection on it that you can use to save and load your images, and it's also a standard control, so you can use it as a visual brush if you like. One of the rather nice looking effects that I've seen is to take your ink canvas, turn it into a visual brush, apply it to a newly created rectangle, and then transform it down with a flip XY tile. Now what this does is it creates a somewhat of a kaleidoscope effect. So as I draw, I get different lines positioned all over the place. This is just one example of how you can use ink. If you take a look up at MSDN, there's an explanation up there of how to use Ink Canvas to capture handwriting, and as your user writes something in, you can capture that value and display it somewhere else. Right now though, this is all we're going to do with the Ink Canvas. So we're done here.